Hi everybody, my name is Catherine and this is Cat Sly Vid, and I am super excited to be with you today because today we're talking about a topic that actually is like something that I have struggled with in the past. So I'm extra excited to share with you guys so that we can learn together and grow from my experiences that have failed. So if you don't know me, my purpose of these videos is to bring information to people from what I've experienced in my life or what I've researched so that we can live a better, more fulfilling, more positive life together going forward. So today's video is about the difference between motion and action. Well, this is the story. Motion keeps us busy, right? It's that busy work. So we can be busy doing things, but motion itself is never going to reach a goal for us. Action is being busy, but actually doing something that's going to get us to where we want to be. So for example, I want to lose some weight, right? So I'm going to research these different healthy eating plans. I'm going to maybe go talk to a personal trainer. I'm going to plan on how I'm going to get healthy and fit. That's motion. My action is when I actually stop eating the junk food and start going to the gym. So that's the difference between motion and action on a personal level. Professionally, I might make a list of all the clients or potential customers that I want to reach out to, and I strategize on how I'm going to talk to them and what I'm going to do and how I'm going to connect with them. But until I actually make contact and they become a customer, it's just motion. It's busy work. Motion alone will never get you to any kind of result. You need to pair it with physical movement, that forward movement of action. So the question is, why do we get caught up in motion? Well, the very first thing is that we need motion, right? We need to plan, we need to strategize, and in many cases, we need these things so that we can get to the next step, which is motion. But the biggest reason that we get caught up in this motion instead of taking the action is really because we're trying to delay failure. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I've had days when my list is as long as my arm. I mean, I'm chasing my tails, I'm knee deep in alligators. I just can't get caught up. I'm busy. And at the end of the day, I look back and I think, did I get anything done today? I had a lot of motion, but no real action. And for business, I mean, if it's not income producing activity, guess what? That's not good for business. And if it's personal and I'm not getting the things done that I need to get done in my house or for my family, they're still going to be there. So being busy, having that action or having that lack of action, it doesn't help us. So basically, the thing with motion is that some progress happens because we make our lists, we strategize, we get ready, but we have some progress without that fear of failure because we think, well, we're getting it done, we're preparing. It's just not quite enough. So what we need to do is talk about what's that next step? How do we get organized so that we can actually take action? And motion feels like we're getting something done, but really what we're doing is we're preparing to get something done. So we need to make sure that that's not us. So I want to talk about a couple of reasons, actually 4 reasons that action is very important. And the problem is when that motion, that procrastination, it turns like that we're preparing, but it turns into more of a procrastination. That's when we actually have to take action. We've all heard the story about insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Doesn't happen. We're crazy if we think that way. So we have to move forward with what we're doing. So I want to talk about 4 things, 4 reasons action is super important. The first one is that when we take action, it allows us to have a different point of view. Now, when we think about action, we think that it's movement, right? It's actually doing something, taking that step forward. And I want to picture yourself in New York City. You're standing in the center of the city and you're looking all around you and all you see is these big, tall skyscraper buildings, just big buildings everywhere. That's all you can see. And if you don't take action and move, that's all you're ever going to see. But if you take action and you start walking forward and you hit a street and you look down that street and oh my God, there's Central Park, there's trees, there's water, there's people having a great time, it changes our perspective. So taking action allows us to have a completely new point of view, and it changes our perspective because we see things differently. That's the first reason that action is important. The second reason is that inaction is actually a lot scarier than action. So, okay, maybe we don't want to take action because we think that we're scared. We think that, well, you know, if I try something and it doesn't pan out for me, I might get hurt. I might fail at something. It might just be, you know, really outside of my comfort zone to try something new. But what happens is that if we don't take action, guess what? We don't have a choice. We are only going to be in the one situation that we're in, and it's never going to change and never going to get better. And this is a growth kind of thing. And we talk about everything in this world is constantly growing. They say a tree grows forever until it dies. So we want to continue to grow because that's how we're going to move forward and, you know, end up where we want to be. Number 3, motivation follows action. Now, this I can certainly talk about. There are many mornings that I do not want to go to the gym. I mean, it is really hard to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 3 days a week and get there. But guess what? 10 minutes into that workout, I feel awesome because I'm there, I'm motivated, I'm excited, I'm passionate about what I'm doing. So when we take action and get a little bit closer to what it is that we're trying to reach, we get excited. And when we have that momentum flowing, that motivation, that passion, that excitement is going to keep us going. I don't know if you have ever tried to lose weight before, but like for me, for example, say I want to lose 20 pounds. I know if I start doing the right thing, eating healthy, going to the gym, and in a couple of weeks, I can't lose 20 pounds, but if I lose 3 pounds or 5 pounds, I'm excited. So I want to keep going. I want to keep at the right thing. So motivation follows action. And the very last thing, the fourth thing for action and why it's so important is that action creates courage. When we do something new, when we move forward, we learn. Guess what? Sometimes we might fail, but every time we fail, we actually learn and we grow. So as we grow, that knowledge is power. So when we think about action creating courage, don't you love when you learn something new, you're stronger, you're better, you're able to share this with somebody else? So that action, it's like a snowball effect that gets us to the next best thing, and we can share what we learn with other people. So the very last thing I want to leave you guys with this whole taking action versus just being in motion and being busy and not really getting anything done is that my suggestion is to set a schedule for action. Now listen, I fall into this with my own job too. I make lists and I try to strategize and I decide how I want to approach people, which is important. But what you need to do, what I need to do too, is that you set a couple of days a week that those are your touch days, those are your action days. So then that way you're not overwhelmed feeling like it's something that you have to do all the time. But if you are strategic in your planning and know that those particular moments, those days, your action is going to get taken, you don't have to think about it. It'll just happen. And then you'll feel better about yourself because you've done it. You've taken the step. Whether you succeed the first time or not, you're going to learn and you're going to get there. So guys, tonight's video was all about the difference between motion versus action. And I know that you guys are going to get out there, you're going to set some goals, but you're going to not just think about those goals, you're actually going to move on them and be very, very successful with it. So thank you so much if you watched my video. I am really always happy to spend time with you guys. If this was helpful for you, please share it with a friend, and I hope that you join me next time. All right, guys, have a great night. Again, I'm Kat. I'll talk to you later.